Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aderemi Adedokun. I'm the assistant professor of accounting at Yavapai College. It is my deep interest to present my view and general overview of new dimension about female leadership in academia. So my topic today is hidden treasures of female leadership in academia, new approach to emerging hindrances ahead. What sprung my interest in discussing the hidden treasures of female leadership? I've been on female leadership topic for over a decade. I've been dealing with area of female leadership for a while. And I've seen, based on several studies that I've conducted, there are a lot of expectation gaps that the female leaders in academia, they are not aware of, or they don't pay enough attention to them. So before we begin, let's look at the definition of leadership. In the 20, 30 years ago, 2 decades, 3 decades ago, we usually associate control, the word control, with leadership. Then, in the past 10 years, they changed it to influence. But that the word influence is fading away. That a leader has to be aware that they need to create the willingness within their follower to do the needful. That the issue of leadership is no longer about controlling, it's no longer about influencing people, but let people be. That's when you can get the best out of them. So leadership is no longer about controlling, it's no longer about influencing people's behavior, but to put your followers at ease so that there will be willingness, they will be at their peak, they will be at their best to go above and beyond for the organization. Leadership is also has turned to trust and trust and trust issue. That your follower, a leader need to create an atmosphere where the follower need to trust them in order to do what they are willing to. How do you create an environment of trust? It's a whole lot of factors you have to put together, and you have to be able to see through the eyes of your followers, not to window dress, not to manipulate them, because they are watching you. And if you promise them, make sure you are not fond of broken promises to your followers. All those can be an issue of trust. Leaders, you don't need to trust your followers. Your followers, you need to create an environment where your followers will trust you to go above and beyond, willingly to do the job for you. Why you don't need to trust them is to create the sense of check and balances that you can follow up these expectations that are set. These are the job description. You can follow up with timeline. And if you see any gap, any shortcoming, don't use it to knock them down. Use that opportunity to bring the best out of them. Work with them with time. And if you do that, all these things in the long run will build a trust that if you are not around, you're sure that your follower will do the need. In fact, they will go above and beyond to accomplish the goal. Be generous. Be generous because blood flow in every one thing. Be considerate, be generous, be nice to people. Because that's the best way you can get what they have for you. The best input, the best approach is to be generous. Jack Welch, which you're going to see his clip, is one of the most celebrated CEO in America. So a leader needs to increase their generosity gene. You need to. You celebrate everyone's effort, regardless whether a little achievement, big achievement, even if they don't achieve, you celebrate them for whatever they put on the table. And if you put all the pieces of achievement together, it becomes one. So consider it. If you are in somebody's shoe, how would you like to be treated? So, and if you are considerate, you will not be underestimating what your followers they can bring on the table, regardless of their background, regardless of their demographic factors. You need to be considerate, to look through their eyes. And the leaders, they also, nowadays, they play the function of human resource, that they need to meet every single followers at the point of their need. That's what a follower A requires. It's totally different from follower B. I might need daycare for my kids. Somebody might be concerned about their professional development. Somebody might be concerned about family issue. You bring yourself to every of your followers' level to meet their needs. And that's how you can actually build the trust over time. Let's move to Jack Welch and see what Jack Welch say about leadership. So, in summary of what Jack Welch explained it, one of the key things that he emphasized on transparency. Got to be open. People don't want to be followers, don't want to be taken for granted, they don't want to be manipulated, they don't want to be deceived. Be open, be transparent. It's all about job. And the strategically of, allow people to do their job at their best, willingly. You don't have to control them. You don't have to manipulate them. You don't have to influence them. When you leave people at their space, their willingness stage, they put the very best on the table for you. Transparency. Be generous. Be kind. Your level of tolerance has to be unique. You have to be able to tolerate your followers because, a whole lot of backgrounds. And you as a leader, you have to accommodate diversity. The follower will see what is good for follower A might not be ideal for follower B. But it is your role to be able to tolerate them and meet them at the point of their need. Genuinely, don't pretend. Because if you pretend today, it's a matter of time. Once followers discover that you are very manipulative, you are window-dressing things for them, it will turn to eye service. That's what they will do. And once they do the eye service and they are no longer, they can't find what they want from you. or from the organization, they walk out of the door. So in order to get the best, be generous, tolerate people, help them. Also, you need to celebrate. And this is where leaders have to be very, very careful. Because each follower have different background. They have different experience. Definitely, we have different inputs, different approaches to help the organization or to meet the need of the organization. When you are celebrating them, be careful not to underestimate some other people, other followers' achievement, or to show a kind of favoritism. It can be very counterproductive, especially in academia, where there's no need for competition. In academia, when you promote, yes, a follower A might be able to bring more on the table than follower B. Don't do it to follower B face that you appreciate follower A more. It can be very, very counterproductive. Be careful. There are ways you can appreciate. Definitely you are favorite, yes. Even if you are a mother within your household, you have 4 or 5 kids. We tend to relate better to people who have better relationship with us. But as a leader in business organization, especially in academia, you can't do that. What about if you show favorite, you show follower A to be your favor, and B is feeling rejected, and all of a sudden follower A find another opportunity, walk out the door. You have to start all over again. So showing favoritism is not so good, especially in academia. Helpmeet overview. When it comes to female leaders, this is very, very, very intentional to bring it to your face. Female leadership, they are unique. Female leaders. The history of creation showcases that if God has inputted certain qualities that are not in Adam, in Eve, because initially God created Adam, and look at him, it's not good for him to be alone. Let me create him helpmate. It's empirically evidence that Adam lacks certain quality that Eve has, that God blessed Eve with. So helpmate of a few. Female has certain qualities. Female leader, they have certain qualities that men don't have. No argument about it. Now, it's now left for female leaders to look within what they got that men don't want. In which we're going to be emphasizing on it beyond the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And biblically, the word wisdom is associated with the fear of God. That the beginning of the fear of God is the beginning of the wisdom. Yeah. But it takes time for people to build on fear of God, to be associated, to develop that spirituality to the level, to attain uncommon level of wisdom. It usually take, the study shows, it usually take female about between 60 and 65 years of age before you actually abandon everything that is associated with life, that you are more spiritual. Knowledge. Definitely, female, they have more knowledge nowadays. If you see who are in the classroom, majority of them are female. Who are the workplaces? In every offices you go, you see more women. That reflects that female has more knowledge than men. Understanding. This is more natural. This is what biases that God put in women than men. During the creation period, it's a kind of ascribed status, ascribed trait that every woman has. Their level of understanding is usually increased. That's why you empathize. You're able to reason with people you pity, you are considerate naturally. And we look at womanhood, the sense of this is my own, that a female attain when they become adolescent, they feel different. Their perspective, they pay more attention, they are more attentive to their body and to their role model, starting from adolescent age. That's also have impact on their leadership skill, that they are able to look at issues distinctively and pay attention to what is going on. Empathy, I said that before. Ability to empathize. Even if you don't have either the resource, the time, or you can't meet the need of your follower, and you are considered, oh, I'm sorry. You genuinely, woman has those qualities to empathize. Identity. Most women, once you attain the age of 40, based on the studies, they tend to identify who they are. At 45, men are still struggling who they are. I'm not comparing the male trait and female trait. I'm just trying to showcase the hidden treasures, the hidden value that female has that can be taken for granted. Awareness. I'm a woman. Awareness. When a woman walks, when they sit down, whatever they do, there's a demonstration that I'm a woman. Natural curiousness and the spirit of discernment, that what an ordinary individual cannot think of, especially a male, what a male cannot think of in 1 year. In 5 days, in 1 week, woman has already put it together. They figure it out. It's natural. It's very natural, which also empowers female to be able to multitask. It enhances the spirit of discernment and curiosity. It enhances female ability to multitask, because they already figure it out ahead. And they put it together. This should be 1, 2, 3. Oh, this should be 4. Where men are still struggling. They can't even see it. Interaction with Creator. I'm going back to history of creation here. When God created Adam and discovered that, oh, this thing that I created is not good for him to be alone. He created Eve, deliberated with Eve. Why would God deliberate? We know God as the perfect being. So, during that course, there is some form of interaction of female with God. That means there's a form of manifestation of perfection that's transmitted from God to female. That's why you will see most churches that you go, female are there. Worship place, female are there. Where the female are more spiritual. Many female are more spiritual than men. A giving community involvement, engagement, you see more female. Something that supports the community or human creation, more female are more involved than male. Fragility and tenderness. It brings a sense of caring. And when they display the sense of tenderness and fragility, it brings a feeling of excitement, like the feeling of when each of the female, they bring a baby into this room now, a young baby, there will be many of you that will be excited, hey baby. Men doesn't pay that attention. That also increased the level of and quality of leadership you see in female. Attentiveness. Pay attention, watch. It's easy for female, especially in the classroom, to discern what is going on with a particular student in the midst of the crowd than men. If they bring those traits to the leadership platform, they were able to quickly discern and attend and help followers according to their needs. All these things, they are collectively contribute to betterment of female leadership. So, connectivity is a sense of belonging. They have relational approach. They have relational approach. And once you are open up and you display that you are open for relational approach in the workplace, people will be free with you. The follower will be, you have opened door system. The follower will not think twice when there's a need for either changes, development, improvement. They know they don't have to knock at your door. I did that to one of my superiors today, less than an hour ago. I walked into her office and said, hey, look at this thing. And we figure it out and I even tap her on the shoulder, you are the best. That's very important, that you put all the bureaucracy away and able to deal with issues as they emerge. That can move organization forward. Communication skill. Female are better communicator, even though you only communicate 7% of what you communicate are actual the message. 55 are your body language. And that is good, bless you. It also have some outside effect on that, in which I will explain later on. But the body language in an environment when you don't see, when there is competition, too much competition to attain leadership position, this can be negative body language. That it's easy for women to be petty. Pettiness, I'm going into that later on. And that's not good. That can be very counterproductive. So, your word choice, which is 7%, if you can improve on it, especially men, if you are working in the midst of men that they don't pay attention to body languages, oh, you will be communicating nothing to them. Only in woman environment that the body language are louder. In men world, they are not. Gravitas in combination with emotions. Women have ability to make a very tough decision and stay with it, and also be supportive of their followers, like negative sanctions. You know, when your follower do something first time, second time, according to the studies, you have to correct your follower 13 times. This is taking away. The study says, I think that number is going to increase based on the new generation of follower we are getting because of their attention span. But the study shows, this study has been around for a while, that you have to correct your follower at least 13 times before you introduce any negative sanction to correct them. And when you introduce negative sanctions, don't do it in such a way that it will knock them out. What you're trying to do, you're trying to fix what is not right. So you have to be very, very careful. Women has more ability to do that, especially through their emotions. And through the sense of, this is my own during the childbirth. When women give birth, the moment they conceive and give birth, the sense of belonging increases. The sense of, this is my own, increases. And give them the audacity to empathize and see through the eyes of followers at work. This is a very, very good skill that a woman has. But most of you don't pay attention to it, that you are better. These are the physical factors that are taken for granted. So let's watch this attestation video. This is very enlightening and an eye-opening. I want you to pay attention to some key words that you're going to hear from the duo. Now that you hear from women, people that think like you, people that behave like you, people that see like you hear from the horse's mouth. There are a whole lot of hidden treasures within you that you didn't pay attention to. Don't put it in your head or think about glass ceiling anymore. The glass ceiling has been broken. It just needs to be shattered so that you'll be able to fly to the sky. That's no longer an excuse. Everywhere you go now, majority of the middle managers that are going to be successfully groomed to become top manager are female. You have no excuse. Take the bull by his horn and remain strong. Collaboration. You female need to collaborate more. Appreciate the differences between you. In fact, the differences between you make life and the way you'll be able to help your follower more exciting and interesting. So instead of seeing the differences as something that negates your ability, collective ability to help the followers, see it as good trait that you can put together to help the follower. It is easy to break a broomstick than to break a bunch. Together you are, the better you are. Celebrate the differences. Cut out the pettiness. It negates what people, and you know, it's very calicentric to the word body language that women can pick up to easily. If I walk in the room full of women and they're talking about me, I don't care. But women are very sensitive, especially the body language that speaks louder than the word. And that can demotivate your colleagues, it can demotivate your followers. So see the differences as a good opportunity to bring diverse idea, opinion on the table. Don't window dress. Don't manipulate your follower or your colleague. It's a matter of time. You can only, this is, with passage of time, once they discover that you are manipulating or window dress or you found of broken promises, it will resort to eye service. And then what does that lead to? Now support the interests of the business organization you work for. And if your follower fails, you as the leader, you fail. That's a given. Appreciate and celebrate, like that word said. Appreciate and celebrate everyone's input. Put the pieces together to make one. Your followers cannot be the same. They came from different backgrounds. So the level of input definitely is going to be different. But put all the pieces together, celebrate them more. If A contributes more than B, celebrate them equally, openly. Strategically, you can call A in and give more appreciation individually. But do not underestimate what B can also bring on the table. Trustworthy environment. That everybody focus will be on the achievement and interest of your organization. That everything that we bring on the table collectively, because you create the trust environment that even before you think, your follower already think for you. Hey, this is I have this idea. You have open door policy system, and you are more welcoming. They will come. They will trust you more. But be careful not to trust all your followers in order to do follow-up, to do check and balances. Imagine challenging. Before I go into this, all the factors that we have discussed so far, the ones you see on the video, they are all hidden treasures that you have. You that has it, you possess those traits, those qualities, those follows, but you don't know you have it. What about the follower that under that don't even know they have those kind of qualities? They don't even know themselves. Most of your followers are less than 40 years of age. They're still struggling with the identity. So if they're struggling with their identity, who they are, the kind of quality and value they have, they cannot afford the purposes of their life. So who are you going to groom? You remember how long it takes you to get where you are. And you yourself, at the leadership platform, you still lock. There are a whole lot of hidden treasure within you that you didn't discover. What about the follower that you want to groom? You don't have this? So you need to first realize those hidden treasure within you and make use of them, that you are underutilizing those treasure that God bless you with. Once you realize that, you're able to, oh, somebody else. A blind cannot lead the blind. You have to internalize those traits in yourself first, so that your follower, you can help them to identify who they are. In addition, you can assist them to discover the primary purpose of their life. Empower them for career projection. Career projection also can lead to successor grooming, that you identify this certain quality, that this one individual will be perfect to be the director of programming or to be the vice president of academic affairs. You start grooming them. And you start, inputting them the quality, why the future, why the institution needs them. How many of our students want to be a teacher now? They will say no. Ask them in your classroom. How many of them want to work in financial aid or want to be a career counselor or work in library? They will say no. Because they have different perspective. They do not see the hidden treasures, the values they will be adding to the community or institution. Lack of academic collaboration. We don't collaborate enough in academia. There's too much. In higher institutions, there shouldn't be any competition. For real. That there should be absolute teamwork. Because that is how we can put all our heads together to bring unique, uncommon, diversified ideas together to help them. We focus more on competition. We don't provide our shoulder to our colleagues to lean on. Mentoring and succession grooming is related to what I have discussed before. Mentoring approach can be indirect approach. Succession grooming is when you identify certain qualities that befit futuristic role. Grab them by hand, help them. And also you need to be diversified in your thinking, your approach. Don't be just self-centered. It's my way or no way. When you have an idea, you put it on the table, listen to others, and wait which one is best that serve the best interest of the stakeholder of the institution. There's too much competition in leadership role. Let's do away with it and be more lean on me approach, where people will be free. Your colleague, your followers, they will have boundaryless behavior to talk about new ideas, solutions, things that they see. And that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm open to questions and feedback.
So, Remy, what do you see as men's role to promote women in leadership positions?
We have to see through the eyes of women.
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
By step back. I said this woman word. Why? Majority of the stakeholder here, they trust women more. Yeah. If you randomly put 20 learners or students together and we have to sell or we have to give them information, the information you provide to them as a female will be more welcoming than what I provide to them. You can easily relate to them as a mother, as a sister, as a counselor. Women fitting into several roles than men. Any men that realize that need to know that they have to step up. The problem is, it's not the men. Yeah, the problem is not men. The problem is women versus women. You hear what they said on the video? That is more intrinsic, it's more cumbersome to address. And because of pettiness. So if that differences can be identified and the biases can be put aside, and women see that they are the solution, they will work collaboratively and move things forward. The problem is not men. Men don't want to be labeled anymore. How many men you even see around it nowadays? Quarter of men are dead, quarter are in jail, The quarter that are good are already either retired. So the issue is not about men anymore, but those men that are still trying to display masculinity or display that they are better, they are still blind. For real. The best approach nowadays is for women, it's women what? And women need to take cover, That's it. I hope I answer your question. Not satisfactory. It's very, at our generation or your generation, it's very easy to see men as the main obstacle. No. If you examine the younger generational group coming up, it's women versus women. And what it requires is collaboration.